juicy goodness for you today. So, who am I? Just to start off with who I am, my name is Nicole Louis. I'm the CEO and founder of All About Families. And more recently, something else that I'm going to be sharing with you today. This is part 2 of the announcement, actually. But just to give you a little bit of background again about me, I'm a social worker. I've been a social worker for many, many years, since about 2000, and I was in health and social care before then. And I've been working in the children families sector, child protection in particular. I kind of did the long term, the short term work. I did generic as well as specific. I did looked after children with disabilities. Yeah, I did quite a few things. I worked in like 11 local authorities across the UK. And it was really rich experience. One thing that I realized is every local authority has a different name, but the issues are kind of the same everywhere. And by that, I don't just mean what the families experience. I'm talking about what goes on behind closed doors and how the system is. You social workers know what I'm talking about. So I've experienced all the kind of sleepless nights, worrying about case notes that haven't been written up. Thinking about the visit that I never got to do, thinking about all the meetings that I still have to organise, the list that's as long as my arm that never seems to go away and that I can never get on top of. I remember what that was like. Yeah, I remember the drives to home visits, rushing from one home visit to the next, sometimes coming in not being able to find a desk to work at, all of that good stuff. So yeah, I've been there, I know what it's like. And I can honestly say that being on the other side of that kind of work life, well, I can't really call it work life, it was just work balance, I can definitely say now is a much healthier and a much more rewarding and enjoyable and fulfilling experience. So with that said, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about, as I said, what I'm doing. So I'm the founder as well of a private Facebook group here called the Experienced Social Workers Exclusive Club. It's exclusive to experienced social workers in particular because, you know, when you've been doing social work for a minimum of 5 years, I'd say, and you've been working in local authority or even other sectors, whether that's on a permanent basis as an agency worker or even being semi-independent, you're still kind of grappling with the same difficulties. And so I created that space so that we could come together, and more importantly, so I can share how I've become independent, fully independent. So that means not relying on kind of government funding. That means not having to accept particular terms that solicitors or the local authority want to set for me, but that I set and they have to stick to, and they do, and they come back for more. Obviously, you know, we are in it because we genuinely want to make a difference to the lives of the people that we serve. And so, you know, we need to be able to make a difference in our own lives and experience that properly so that we can really make a difference in the way that we want to. I think we can get quite jaded when we're experienced social workers based on, you know, how the system can be that we work for, and our hands are tied and the constraints that we have. So that's the purpose of the group. So yeah, we've got people from all over in the group. We've got people from the West Indies, also different islands of the West Indies. So it's a really rich group, and I love the fact that it's so diverse and there's people from all over in the group. So yeah, if you are a social worker, and in particular an experienced social worker who is either in permanent work right now, or if you have been working as an agency worker, it's still kind of like being permanent, to be honest, except you might get paid a bit more. And also if you're semi-independent, so if you've started taking that step but you're not quite fully independent and you're still not clear about where things are, then it's kind of a great group for you to be in, because we'll support each other. You know, people share difficulties that they might be having or questions that they have, and those can be answered. And there's resources in the group, and information, tasks, videos to follow, and things that you can do to actually start putting the meat on the bones, if you like, to be able to get started as an independent. So that's the group. So you might have known that I made an announcement in the group on my birthday, which was the 14th of August, about 2 weeks ago now, I think. And so the big announcement was about the course. I mean, stuck and not sure how to break free of that and have terms on, you know, have your business on your terms where you're respected for that, and where they do it without query, where they do it without giving you the third degree, or you having to take them to court, small claims court. Yes, I've been there. As an independent, man, have I learned a lot. And so if you're in that place, then, you know, this course is going to be for you. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about it. Well, firstly, when I launched and I announced it on the 14th of August, it was a bit of an epic fail, as they would say. And it was because I had some tech issues, basically. And that happens, you know, it's having a team at least to support you in that is brilliant, to help you figure it out. And so I was able to turn to a team to be able to do that. And that was really helpful. But yeah, there have been some tech issues behind the scenes of getting everything set up so that it was ready and prepared for you, but that has now been resolved. So we are ready to go. So hence this update. So what is the Launchpad first and foremost? So the best way that I can describe it to you is it's really a step-by-step course that gives social workers a structured and supportive arm, a guide taking them from the start of their business, whether that's setting it up. So I'm talking about even, you know, coming up with your name, and actually registering it as a business, all the way to the step-by-step process, all the way to, you know, hiring staff, having a team, getting office space. It takes you from A right to Z, basically, and it is a step-by-step guide, so things are really broken down. So it helps you to really develop your business. So it works really nicely if you're already in employment, and you haven't yet left, but you want to. You can give yourself a time scale of how long it's going to take to do this course. It's not kind of one of those courses that you do in 3 weeks and hey presto, you're independent. That's just not going to work. This is a serious course that is going to change your life, and give you the platform that gives you a solid infrastructure. Most businesses fail within either the first year or first 5 years. And so this gives you a solid platform that will allow you to grow. And in fact, within a 5-year period, you will experience great growth if you follow the steps. I know that it's worked for me. So this is stuff that I've learned along the way. I've invested heavily financially and time-wise to learn all the things that I have done. As I said in the last video, I've made some mistakes and I have learned from those. So there are things that I'm going to be telling you very clearly to avoid and why, certain things to do and why. So this is a brilliant platform if you are really wanting to start building the blocks so that you can either say, right, I'm going to be independent, you know, in the next 5 months, 4 months, or maybe a year and a half. You may have a longer plan, it's absolutely fine. But one thing you will have is something that is step-by-step structured, where you have broken it down in depth to what you need to be doing to make sure you've got that structure in place that you will be able to progress and have a successful business. All right. So now the Launchpad is online platform, as I said. So it's going to be distance learning, which is great. So you can do it in your PJs, an hour every night.